Hi, I'm Jimmy Chang, and we're here to talk about how to find disjoint events and fractions. Now, one of the things you want to consider here is the definition of disjoint events. And the definition of that is are events A and B where the probability of A and B happening is going to equal to 0. So when it comes to events that have probability of using fractions, disjoint events actually means that the probability of both happening at the same time is actually going to be 0. So what you have to consider are scenarios for which that will give you disjoint events. So for example, if you're flipping a coin, the probability of, let's just say, flipping heads is going to give you 1/2, and the probability of getting tails is 1/2. But the fact of the matter is, if you were to flip a coin once, you know the probability of getting heads and tails is going to give you 0. That's an example of disjoint events. Now, if you're rolling a die, you know the probability of getting, let's just say, a 2 is going to give you 1/6, and the probability of getting a 3 is 1/6, and the probability of rolling a die and getting a 2 and a 3 at the same time is going to give you 0. That's another example of disjoint events. However, an example of events that are not disjoint would be the probability, for example, of rolling a 2 and getting an even number, and then that's an example of two things that can happen at the same time, so they're not disjoint. So, within fractions, it kind of goes head to head with what disjoint events are, because the definition of disjoint events are the probability that the two events happening at the same time is equal to 0. So I'm Jimmy Chang, and that's a brief introduction on how to find disjoint events and fractions.